Hello and welcome back to another When Should I Pick Blank character series. We've already done all of the supports and we have now moved on to the tanks. We've already done Reinhardt from last week, but today we are doing Zarya. Now the reason why I want to do Zarya is because she's a little bit of an interesting character actually. You would think that a lot of I feel like there's going to be a lot of controversy here in terms of what characters actually really do synergize well with Zarya in the current way that they play. So maybe Ryan won't be S tier, maybe not. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I don't want to waste too much of your time, and let's see what's going on here. Starting off with Ana, am I honestly going to have to take it up with an S tier right off the bat? So here's the thing. You would be thinking, Zarya, wow, Zarya's really great with Brawl. Zarya's a really fast-paced character. She wants to get her charge fast. Bam, 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 all that kind of stuff. She actually wants to kind of play in the middle. She wants to be aggressive when she gets the opportunity to. Unlike Diva, who's going to be aggressive all of the time and wants to really push a fight quick. Zarya needs to take time to really find value. And that really complements Ana extremely well because Ana needs to wait for nade value, wait for sleep value. She needs to play for opportunities, not necessarily just raw value and aggression like you see with Zenyatta. Other things that I can say that really complement each other here, Ana can nade the Grav to counter trans, Ana can nano the Zarya to get her Graviton Surge even faster and pretty much melt through any team that she really encounters here. You've seen that a lot recently when Ana and Zarya are played together. There's really no downside to playing Ana with Zarya, and thus that makes her pretty high S tier just right off the bat. Moving on to Ashe though. I mean, I don't really know how I feel about Ashe here. I don't think she's bad with Zarya. I just don't think it's great either. That being said, though, I think I'm going to put high C tier, if not like low B tier here. Mostly because if you can dynamite a Grav, it's pretty much an ensured kill. The thing is with Ashe is that she wants to take off angles, very, very aggressive off angles, mind you. Usually with a Sigma or an Orisa. I mean, it can be used into Brawl. It's just not great, but it's not necessarily a hindrance either. That leads us now on to Baptiste. I really would want to put him S tier. I just think that Ana is better with Zarya. I think Baptiste is just a better character than Ana. I just don't think the synergy is better. And that's really what we're going over here today, which characters really work together really, really well. Obviously, the power of the character themselves kind of impacts that in a way, but in this situation, I think in an ideal situation where Ana is performing well in the meta, I think Ana is better than Baptiste with the Zarya, mostly because Baptiste, he doesn't need to play slow like the Zarya does. That being said, it's not necessarily a hindrance either. The personal bubble though can kind of act like an immortality field as well, even though immortality field's much better. I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that Ana, it complements Ana's style with Zarya because Ana wants to play slow for that nade value. Meanwhile, Baptiste, he kind of wants to get in there, get his window fast, and really get the most out of his immortality field, which playing slow isn't really the best way to get a lot out of your immortality field, and I'm sure that if you guys have any questions, I could go over that in a further video, but I don't want to take too much of your time as we are already 3 minutes in, or about 3.5. Bastion, guys, do I really have to say anything about Bastion Zarya? What are you going to do with the Zarya? You going to bubble the Bastion? He's still going to die. Obviously, it's not like the bubbling on the Bastion isn't awful, but there's just run Sigma, run Orisa, run a shield. Don't run Zarya, you know? But yeah, moving on. Let's see. Brigitte. Ooh, I really want to put her S tier. If anything, I'm going to put her low S tier. I mean, a lot of this is going to be inspired by the double bubble composition. That is Winston Zarya, that composition. You might not have seen it a lot, but it's very, very strong. So this support duo, the thing is, we have to keep a theme in with Zarya here. She doesn't want to play fast all the time like you would with a Lucio. That being said, it's not bad. The thing is that Brigitte complements the Zarya's playstyle because Zarya needs to wait to get charged and to then take a push. And Brigitte, she gets better value if the fight is longer compared to Lucio. Lucio wants to take a very fast fight because he has the speed boost. Again, it's not like it's detrimental by any means. I'm just saying that I think Brigitte and Zarya, at this point of time in the game, the synergy that they have is very, very strong. Excuse me. Doomfist. We've seen it with double bubble compositions. I don't think it's necessarily good. I do think the synergy is very strong, though. It's so strong that Doomfist, even though he's not the strongest character right now, he still has value when you probably could still pull off a Hackfist composition in any elo that's below like 4.3 if you had a Doom one trick. Honestly, you probably could even in tier 3 run a Hackfist composition if your Doom was good enough. I think bubbling a Doom is probably the best support a Doom can get from a tank, besides maybe a Diva flying in and getting defense matrix, but the problem with that is that the Diva then it gets demeched. So I think the bubble is a little bit more practical, and it gets a lot more value because, I mean, they have to look at that Doomfist. If they don't shoot the bubble, he's going to kill their backline. And by shooting the bubble, then the Doomfist gives the Zarya charge, and therefore Zarya gets what she wants. The synergy is most definitely there. So, Diva Zarya. I'm never a big fan of off-tank comps comboed. What I can say is that Diva and Zarya kind of do the same thing, but at different tempos. The reason why you see Zarya going off first is because when people are learning the composition, Zarya can kind of deadlift a little bit, but Diva's usually always a better option because she's faster, and in a game that's very fast-paced, like Overwatch, you need that speed. I mean, maybe Diva Zarya could work. The problem is there's no real space-making abilities. I don't really know. I mean, I think Zarya Hog is better than Zarya Diva. That's honestly where I'm at with this. I might be putting a lot of tanks D tier or low C tier. I'm not really sure where I want to go with this one. I think I'm going to do a D tier. Echo Zarya. I think it's top B tier. The thing is with Echo is that there's no real synergy between the two, but it's still very good because they allow each other to do the things that they want to do. Like, you could grab, and then Echo could have a damage boost Sticky Mines combo into the grab, and that does a lot on its own. But the thing is like, I think Echo synergizes a lot better with other characters compared to the Zarya, and we'll get into that within the coming weeks as we continue recording these videos. But as for right now, I think a B tier is where it's going to stay, and if you are confused, just stay tuned for the next weeks or the coming weeks where we go over those characters. Genji, I think Genji's one of those characters too. I mean, I might put him A tier. Because bubbling a Genji in for dashes, you could justify that, maybe. The thing is, I think it's very low A tier. I think Dragon Blading a Grav isn't as strong as it used to be. That's for sure, because Nanoblade is just, people have gotten proficient enough at Genji and proficient enough at like surviving in a Grav for Genji to just not be as strong blading the Grav. That being said, I still think there's a lot you can do with Grav as Genji, and the Shimada brothers their kits almost seem to be made for the Zarya. Hanzo, do I dare say it? I think, here's the thing, Grav Dragon was made like huge in season 10. It is now season 30 or 31? I think it's 30. I'm not sure. In the Grav Dragon combo still, I mean, it still is very active today. People are always going to know, well, if there's Grav and they have a Hanzo, we need to have a Zen. When you look for an aid to block, it's that ingrained in in an Overwatch player's memory that at this point, the synergy just has to be known. But I mean, the thing is, besides the ultimate combo, there isn't really a whole lot going on for Hanzo with Zarya. The thing is that Hanzo gets his ultimate so fast, and it's such a main part of his kit that you could argue that it would be top S tier. I mean, honestly, I wanna put it down a little bit, but I don't want people to get angry when they see Hanzo as the top, like when they are like, why is this not S tier? I mean, I think you could really swap it with anyone in S tier. I think, you know what? No, I'm gonna put Hanzo below Doomfist. I just think overall the synergy isn't as vital as the Doom. I mean, that's where I'd want to put it. I think the thing is, how strong Grav Dragon is, you could really say anything about this. So So I mean, that's kind of my 2 cents on it. It's very strong. Doesn't really change anything, but whether or not it's here, you know. But yeah, let's keep moving on. We're at the 10-minute mark, so let's keep on pushing. Junkrat I usually put at the low end of every single list, but I gotta say, Junkrat with Zarya is really, really strong. I mean, imagine 120 damage per hit, pretty much, as Junkrat. The whole thing with Junkrat is that it's hard to hit his mines, it's hard to hit his grenades. I mean, Graviton Surge. That's pretty much knocked out of the window. If Junkrat wants to be aggressive and fly in, you can get bubbled. I honestly, this is probably going to be my one hot take, that Junkrat is one of the better characters to pair with a Zarya. I'll put it below Baptiste, just because it's not as practical, but I still think it's really, really strong compared to some of the other picks that are going to be coming up here. Lucio, I'm going to put below Junkrat. I think Lucio is good with Zarya. It's just it makes more sense with the Diva. Therefore, I cannot put the synergy between the Zarya and Lucio above an A tier. And we'll go into that. I'll probably do Diva next week, just so that you guys can get clarifications. Let me know if you actually watched this far down below, and if you'd want me to cover that next week, or if you want me to cover a different tank character next week. Please let me know. Excuse me, and let's keep moving on here. Kree, another one of those characters that I think I'm going to put him top A tier. I don't think I'm going to quite put him S tier. The thing with Kree is that he functions very well with the slow brawl composition that Zarya does very well in. It's kind of under the same thing as Baptiste, where like it's good, but it's not like when I see Zarya, I'm like, oh yeah, Kree is better than Doom or Hanzo. You know, I think inherently these characters up here, while they might not be as meta-defining currently, they still function much better with the Zarya. Mei, I'm also going to put up there. I don't think I'm going to put it as up there, because you want to capitalize off of her walls, therefore you're going to want to have a speed boost. Or it's going to have to be map dependent, and you're going to want to... There's a lot that goes into it. I think Mei functions better with a faster team. Once she gets her wall, you want to speed and kill it as fast as possible. That being said, no one in the A tier is bad with the Zarya. This is all personal opinion. They're all very, very close with the S tier as well. I just think there's like clear defining factors in the S tier that we've been discussing so far today. Now, when I look at this, honestly, I'm gonna have to put Mercy pretty dang low here, along with probably Zen when we get there. No. I think Zen's a little bit low. We're going to cover both of these right now. Here's the thing. A damage boosted Zarya that's pocketed is very, very strong. And so the thing is, these are kind of interchangeable. I don't want to put two healers right next to each other. I could see uses for both is what I'm going to say here. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to put both D tier and at the top end of D tier. Because like I could see maybe in Platinum, or like just weird ranks, you could damage boost a high charge Zarya and it could do work. It really could. I could see Zenyatta orbing the Zarya when she loses bubble. And then after that, she can target discords. Like I can see that. The thing is that Goats doesn't exist anymore for that synergy to really pop off. And I would just much rather see different characters paired with a Zarya. And that is the verdict I'm going to say here. Moira, I think I'm going to put her probably B tier along with the Echo. It's not bad. It's just, I think there are just better character choices right now. Moira is a lot, sorry, excuse me. Moira is a lot like Lucio, where she wants to take fights extremely fast. Therefore, the Diva complements the Moira much more efficiently than a Zarya. I'm probably going to put, now that I see Orisa, when was Orisa Zarya ever good? Let's be honest here. I think Diva, you could maybe argue that you could bubble in a Diva and get all charge. She could function kind of like a Winston in lower elos. Maybe you could argue that. Personally, I think Orisa is honestly arguably worse. I mean, she only has 600 health for a shield now. If Orisa had her old shield health and it was a lot tankier, I could maybe see a Zarya with an Orisa, but now we also have Sig in the game. We also have where's Sig? Sig in the game, we have Hog. There are just clear differences here that I think you guys can all understand. because Mercy is so low, Pharah, as we move on here, Pharah, I think, has better synergy with a Zarya than I would think. I just think that, like, if you want to run a Pharah, you want to run a Mercy, and then why you're running the Zarya, why aren't you just running a ball to run the Mercy? And that's just my personal opinion. I do think that Grav Barrage is still decent, and you can bubble the Pharah when she barrages. The thing is like, when you think Pharah, you have to also think Mercy here. Because if you're not gonna play Pharah with a Mercy, why aren't you just playing Echo? You know, and you might be like, well, Paz, why is this so uninteresting? Why is Pharah such an uninteresting character? Well, I mean, Blizzard made the mistake on themselves to add characters like the Echo, like the Baptiste, like the Moira. That kind of takes away the whole point of the characters as they've evolved. I mean, it is how it is. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not like it's fantastic either. This leads us on to Reaper, which I'm probably going to put at the top of B tier. I don't know if I could quite put it A tier. I really don't. I mean, the thing is with Zarya is she wants to play a little bit slower. Reaper has to get in there. I mean, bubbling Death Blossom, sure, that could be a thing. Bubbling the teleport engage, that could also be a thing. Because of that, I actually might put it low A tier, because Genji kind of functions the same way. I can see the synergy because that's just how basic Reaper's kit is. It's not preferred by any means. I would put it probably low A tier, high B tier is where I'm going to keep this. Reinhardt, I'm going to put A tier, top of A tier, because I still think Rein Zarya, it's a fantastic comp. I just think Rein Diva will always be superior if you're a very, very high level player. There are short instances when meta is kind of getting ruffled about and ruffled around where the Zarya will perform much better than a Diva, and the slower brawl composition will be favored. I just think 90% of the time, the faster the better at higher elos. Roadhog. I think I'm going to put Roadhog right behind the pharmacy. Hog hook meta was a thing. I only think that was because there was something that was greatly altering there was something there that made it very good. I think the synergy just isn't as good. You need some space making material with that comp, and Roadhog's hook is not a threat right now when double shield is so strong. And that's that. Sigma, I think I'm going to put Sigma, I'm going to put Ball here as well. I'm actually going to put Ball low A tier. I think Sigma Zarya is good, but Rein Zarya is simply better, and that's all I'm going to say about that. In terms of Ball, Zarya Ball is very, very strong. I want to put it almost S tier. The thing is that it's a very weird composition, and I think it's too high level for me to put it much higher than where it is now in the Synergy tier list. If you are running a Ball and you are at like 4K or below, just run Diva or Sig. There is an opportunity for Zarya to be used with Ball, and it is very strong. It's way too hard to explain within one video, let alone a video actually driven to the point of actually telling you what that comp is and how it's used. It's too niche, but understand that it's still good if you use it correctly. And for the people that understand that watching this video, because I know some of you do, keep it in the back of your mind. It's still very good. Soldier, I think, kind of falls under the same category as Ashe. Soldier wants to flank. It's not necessarily a detriment per se, but it's not fantastic either. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave it there. Now, Sombra, I'm actually going to put really, really high on this list, if not S tier. I mean, should I? Sombra, you can EMP. I don't think there's inherent... here's the thing. I don't think that there is inherent synergy between those kits, but I think with double bubble and stuff, it kind of works out. If you can EMP, then you don't have to grab. You can save grab for another fight on King of the Hill. I think Sombra, in terms of King of the Hill, is a very, very good pick. I'm going to leave it at that. I think there are better synergies in S tier that are defined on paper. Rather, Sombra is just a good team play character. Therefore, the way that Zarya works, it just works well with her. Symmetra, I kind of really like Symmetra with Zarya. I don't think it's necessarily practical because Symmetra is Symmetra and Sigma is probably just better against a Symmetra, therefore you use that. The thing with Symmetra is that she needs time to ramp up her beam, and then the moment that she does that, she can push. You know? Well, that was a weird. That's a weird start to a song. Anyways, because of that, they kind of share that the same idea. I just think in practicality, the synergy isn't as great as, say, a Sigma or a Diva, and I'm going to leave it at that. Torbjorn's kind of one of those other characters that's like, it's not a detriment, but it's not necessarily bad either. This kind of goes hard. Anyways, the thing with Torbjorn is that he can play aggressive with his shotgun. His turret's also decent. I just think there are better characters, which is why I can't put it above the B tier. Tracer, I gotta put it S tier. I mean, it's... I understand that the inherent synergy isn't necessarily there, but Grav Pulse, I mean, that's just a very low-cost ultimate for Tracer, and you're really only using the Grav because Tracer should have her Pulse Bomb every fight, or at least every other fight. Also, bubbling a Tracer when she wants to engage really hard into the backline could also be a strategy. It's not necessarily perfect, but it's definitely really strong, and that's when we see the Winston who's going to be taking the spot right next to her. But let's do Widowmaker. I think Widowmaker is a little bit better than Bastion, but still, just run Sigma. Support the Widow in different ways, not just bubbling. That's 2 seconds. It's just going to get blown up way too fast. So I'm going to keep the Widow there. I don't think I need to put too much more thought into that. But Winston, where do I want to put Winston? I think what I'm going to do for Winston is I'm going to put him, you know what, no. Let's put him at, you know why? Double Bubble is like the premier composition for a Zarya right now. It is the premier composition for Zarya right now. You soft eye, I mean, it's way too complicated for me to explain again in a video. Not as complicated as the ball pick, but I think the synergy is there because Winston allows for Zarya to get a lot of charge, and then Winston also has kind of evolved into a little bit more of a brawl cleave tank as well because of Ball's introduction into the game for being just hardcore dive. I think Winston has kind of been morphed into a pseudo dive brawl tank when you need it to. It's just very hard to understand that. He's a very difficult tank. I think Winston also works better with a Zen, or not a Zen, with an Ana compared to the Zen, because the Zen works much better with a ball. Nano Monkey, Nano Zarya, it all just kind of intertwines into this fantastic display of just synergistic opportunity, if that's even a word or a concept. I don't know. But, you know, this video has been going on for 23 minutes. Zarya is a little bit of a complicated character, so I was kind of thinking it was going to do that. But if you have been watching for this long, I really appreciate it. Please let me know if you want me to do more kinds of this content, or if there's a different synergy that you'd want me to do. I will be coming out with an Echo duplicate tier list here pretty soon, so be looking out for that as well. It might be coming out on like Wednesday. I don't know if I get time. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all for watching. Let me know if you enjoy this or if you have any other content ideas that you'd want me to go over. But until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.